plant-based world. So we're looking at especially the very bright colored vegetables, beetroot will come up here again. You'll have yellow bell pepper, you'll have green pepper, you'll have chilies, these have a lot of vitamin C, they have vitamin E, they have carotene. So look out for, the really, really bright colored foods. If your plate is not smiling with color, then you are defaulting somewhere. For your body, you are defaulting somewhere. So we should, strive to have at least, 3 to 5 different colors in our day, like bright colors in our day. There, you're really doing great when it comes to antioxidants. We also have some foods that may not be, direct antioxidants, but we'll just generally term them as, polyphenols. And these still also help with our, oxidative stress, for example. They help us to bring that on the low so that, you're not aging quickly because your cells are also wearing out and dying out quicker and being exposed to the toxins we talked about. So, things like lycopene, things like tannins, these are in tomatoes, in teas. That's why herbal teas are really important for us. So if you can have your go at ginger tea, please have that. Lemon tea, please have that. I, in particular, like mint tea. I think it just gives me that freshness at whatever time of day. So, just play around with different herbal teas as well to benefit the most out of that. Another very important one is fiber foods. Fiber foods, for the layman, when you open, say, an avocado, or when you are eating them, you can feel those thread-like substances in these vegetables and foods. That's actually fiber, a form of fiber. And fiber is so important because it helps our system keep moving. So things are not stuck up here where there's excess, for example, cholesterol, it's being swept away, where there's, a huge bulk of waste stuck up somewhere. This is the fiber that's actually going to help it, come out. So you're able to excrete these things that could otherwise be harmful for our bodies if they stay in there for too long. So fiber is also a very important one. Fiber actually also provides food for healthy bacteria. So in our bodies, we are the living organism, but we have so many other smaller living organisms inside there. So if you have, something that is able to provide food for these other living organisms, the healthy gut bacteria especially, then you'll find that even your gut is, the gut lining is constantly healing itself, it's constantly working. And we all have had, at least at some point in time, that all illness really starts from our stomachs. So if you have a healthy stomach, then you're going to have, a better chance at pain-free life, at more productive life, at, staying away from disease.
Yeah, so before we continue further, there's some questions in the chat, and one of them is Brenda. Brenda, she's Chiga like you, and she's based in the US.
Agandi, so, Brenda.
She's asking, what are those foods with collagen components? And she's also asking, are those foods that you've talked about be eaten raw? Is that an added advantage if I eat them raw versus if I either drink them or cook them? So that's a question that we need to answer. Then about hydration, you talked about hydration, but someone asking out there, how much should they hydrate? How much water should they, drink every day? Per week? So those are 3 questions that you perhaps need to, answer.
Okay, for water, looking at plain water, we really love for our I was about to say our clients. I'm so used to, dealing with clients, but yeah, for water, we really need to be striving more to, like 3 liters. But like we said, it's not easy for everyone. And if we're going to make health and good nutrition practical, then we need to take baby steps. That way, the habits will actually stick and become a lifestyle that we find is easy to keep up with. So you don't have to go all the way to 3 liters from having 0 liters of water in a day. You start with your 250 mils and then head on to 500 mils and then head on to maybe 750. Just have a gradual increase of this water. If anything, we can also get water intoxicated, so that needs to be also in check. So you don't want to be drinking 10 liters of water a day because that also has its own effects to us. So I hope that answers that. And then you're talking about having raw foods versus the cooked foods. If we can have an intermediate, because the thing with raw foods as well is there's a risk for contamination, or there's actually some of these foods that have, for example, lectins and then also phytates. And so being able to at least cook them to some level helps to let these, to reduce the amount of these particular chemicals that actually affect absorption in our body systems. So that is why we have to have a balance of intermediate. Yes, you can have raw foods, but at least blanch them. When we say blanch them, we're talking about, just have some warm water, and then, for example, if it is tomatoes you're dealing with, maybe you want to make a tomato and green pepper salad. It would be important to just put these vegetables first in that warm water for say 3 minutes, so that you're also reducing that phytate content, but also the risk of harmful bacteria that could be lingering on these particular vegetables. And that's why yes, you could go raw, but still you need a component of it has been cleaned up, and that's where some degree of cooking, some degree of blanching comes into play here.
Oh, interesting. Hope, Brenda, you have your question answered. So the next question would be, do anti-aging supplements have a place in all this? Because I know there are so many anti-aging supplements on market. People are going to, advertise. There's a lot of advertising going on about anti-aging. So do these supplements have a place in all this? And are there examples that people can quickly grab from supermarkets or any of the lookups and take them?
Well, to be honest, we talked about anti-aging also requiring us to have as little exposure to toxin as possible. And these supplements are also made by other human beings. So first of all, there could be a risk of that contamination. Secondly, sometimes these companies that manufacture these things tell you different things on these food labels or supplement labels, and yet what's really embedded in these supplements is a whole different story. So especially if it's not from like a well-known or authentic space, then you might be actually doing yourself a disservice. However, we always advocate that you start first with actual food, so whole foods. That should be the basis of your diet. So you don't want to be replacing, say, your breakfast with just having 1 tablet and then water and then you're headed out, because there's much more to benefit from these whole foods. First of all, whole foods don't just give you one nutrient, they'll give you like so many things. You'll have probably an orange fleshed sweet potato that's going to give you vitamin A, that's going to give you carbohydrate, that's going to give you fiber, that's going to give you some vitamin E and vitamin C. So you see so many things that you are actually able to get from these whole foods that have less exposure to toxin. That is why our diets should be based on, actual natural whole foods, organic foods, as much as we can. But there are some definitely conditions that may require us to also, top up with supplements, because, for example, the older we grow, our systems work a lot less effectively. And say for people that are a senile age or, senior citizens, they might need a little extra help because they're not able to probably absorb this particular food really well, or they are irritated by it. And so, there you might need to get a supplement to help you better absorb the nutrients that you actually need, because sometimes in these most times in these supplements, the forms that they put these nutrients in is a very easily absorbable form. And so that's where they come in handy. Maybe also for a person that is not feeding well because of an underlying health condition. You might have particular diseases that you have and are treating, and you need to be able to have as much of a particular nutrient, so your intake of, say, vitamin D should be really high, and yet your condition is not helping you have that. So this is where a supplement would also come into play to help you, just increase your intake and, just make sure that your health is also still top notch.
Oh, that's good. Chishke, welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat down below. So, by the way, if you need to check out Amanda, she hasn't talked about, but she has a YouTube channel. So whatever we're talking about here, if you want more of that, it's available on her YouTube channel, and she'll put everything, or she'll give it to you at the end, and I'll put all the links in the description below so that you can go and check out all her content. She has amazing content about health, wellness, and nutritional stuff. So Amanda, again, someone who is already, let's say, 50, and maybe they've been crap their diet for so many years. Whatever we've discussed about, can it help reverse a little bit the aging process? The fact that maybe they have aged a little bit quicker. Yes, they are 50, but they already look like they are 70. They don't feel okay. If they worked on their diet right now, would they have like a little bit of a reversal, or it's it for them? So when is the right time for someone to restart eating for anti-aging? Is there a specific age for that? Should you wait to first reach 40 and then start eating right? Should you start when you're 10, when you're 5? Maybe you can help iron out that.
Okay, I think I remember the last question first. So let me discuss that. To be honest, there is a standard set age, by these health standards. They say 30 is actually the age when you really need to start considering, aging and, your way to anti-aging, because a lot changes at that point with, our hormonal balances. And so all the processes, all the functions in our bodies, may start to lack a bit, and keeps, going like that the older you get. So that's when they say, it really needs to hit home that, I need to start being more serious about anti-aging. But in the ideal world, it should even start with our children. We should be teaching them about, eating right, eating for a better body, eating for your best product.